Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you yet again another Game of Thrones episode review right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. As always, I'm here to bring you the latest in this week's Game of Thrones episode review. And this is Season 2, Episode 9, entitled Blackwater. Finally, Blackwater. Took us 9 episodes. Well, 8 actually. 8 before the 9th. Anyway, took us 8 episodes before we finally got here. Took us 18 episodes until we finally got to see some battles. I'm not talking about fights, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about battles. A fight is between 2 people or a group of people. A small group of people. A battle is with a bunch of people. Fighting, slaying, and fucking, yeah. We finally got to see it. Finally. 18 episodes. We finally got to see a battle. Yes. Blackwater. Yes. Finally got to see a battle. Finally. Anywho. So, one thing about this episode, this is actually a unique episode in the fact that it takes place entirely in one location. The whole episode took place in King's Landing. So, because of that, this is how I'm going to tackle this review. I'm going to discuss the pre-battle scenes, so all the scenes that took place before the battle started. Then I'm going to discuss the Cersei Sansa scenes, because I got to discuss those. And then I'm going to discuss the actual battle. So that's how I'm going to tackle this review. So first off, the pre-battle scenes. One in particular that I thought was somewhat interesting was the exchange between the Hound and Bronn. I was hoping that that was going to foreshadow into something that would have happened in the actual battle, which I think the only thing, okay, here's the thing. You have Bronn and you have the Hound exchanging, pretty much letting the other know why they don't like the other, or at least trying to solidify some type of common ground, initiate some type of mutual understanding. Like, okay, I don't like you and this is why. Okay, I don't like you and this is why. So, you see what I'm saying? And I was hoping that that was going to foreshadow to something that would have happened in the battle. But the thing is, that didn't really happen. What I mean is this. Those 2 characters only really met up once during the battle. And after that, that was it. Like, nothing else transpired between the 2. You see what I'm saying? So, I really don't know how to gauge that scene. Like I said, it was fine. I thought it would have been the start of something bigger. But that thing just kind of fell flat. Let's see, another pre-battle scene. Of course, we're still getting these scenes with Tyrion and Varys just exchanging. I still don't know what the hell is going on with those 2, to be honest with you all. Oh well. We other than that scene, we didn't get to see Varys again in the episode, so okay. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else that happened before? Oh, the exchange with Davos and His Son. Which I'll talk about those 2 when I actually talk about the battle more. But, okay, the scene when Davos is talking to his son, I felt the same way about the Bronn Hound scene. I'm thinking, when I'm looking at the scene, that this is going to start, like this is starting something that's going to transpire. It's foreshadowing something that's going to transpire in the battle. And once again, it didn't. So, not sure what to gauge that. Now, maybe that scene can foreshadow an event that's going to happen after the battle, but because of what happened in the battle, I highly doubt that. And I'll explain that when I get to the battle part. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover for the pre-battle scenes. Now, I want to talk about the Cersei Sansa scenes, because I have mixed feelings about those scenes, and I'll tell you why. On the one hand, I thought they were fucking hilarious. But on the other hand, they were disturbing. And then I was disturbed because I'm thinking to myself, it's like, am I supposed to find this funny? Because I don't know if this was supposed to be funny. But let me tell you what I'm talking about, okay? So we get the rare opportunity where we get to see Cersei liquored up, which I thought was fucking hilarious. It's like, yeah, you know, when your city's under siege, what are you gonna do? Fuck it, break out the wine. Let's get liquored up. I don't know how to put this, but I'll tell you this. Even though Cersei is not a favorable character of mine, she gets bonus points for that shit. She gets kudos for that. Because she could have just been, you know, she could have just been with the rest of the other maidens, you know, sitting around in a circle praying, oh my God, I hope, you know, everything's okay. I hope the soldiers are alright. She's like, man, fuck this. Kicking back the folded. And then she even got Sansa to start drinking with her, even though Sansa wasn't like drinking, but she was like, the scene when she tells Sansa how to drink, she's like, I don't fucking sip it, take it to the head. I thought that shit was hilarious. I'm just saying. Okay, so here's my whole thing. The situation I found was funny, right? But then when Cersei starts talking with Sansa, okay, here's my thing with that. I think this was Cersei's TMI moment. For any of you all know what TMI means. It means too much info. Because I started getting disturbed by what Cersei was telling Sansa. Because I'm thinking, it's like, should you really be telling that to Sansa? And hang on a minute. Let me tell you what shit really started to trip me out. When she started talking about Jaime, I was afraid that she was going to let slip the fact that she was banging Jaime. It didn't happen, but I had a feeling like if what's the cousin's name? Lancel, I think was the cousin's name. I think if he didn't like break up the conversation, or no, it wasn't him. It was the Shay thing when they started talking with Shay. If that didn't happen, I had a feeling she was gonna let that slip. And so the whole time she's talking, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, should you be saying that? Like, you see what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, you do stupid shit when you're drunk. And I felt like we were about to get that moment with Cersei. I'm like, Cersei, I'm not sure if you should be saying this type of stuff. You know? So see, that's my whole fucking point. That's why I said the whole, that exchange was twisted. Because on the one hand, I found it funny. But on the other hand, I found it disturbing. And then I found it disturbing because I found it funny. So it's twisted. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, now I'll talk about the battle. There are like the few scenes, like the Sansa and Cersei scenes that actually go on towards the end of the episode. I'll bring those up right before I discuss the end of the battle. But let me talk about the battle. Now, I'll be honest with you all. I was happy with the battle because, like I said, we've been waiting 18 episodes to finally see a battle. Not a fight. Once again, I'll re-illustrate with you all. A fight is between two people or a small group of individuals. To see what I'm talking about, look at season 1, episode 5, when Ned and Jaime had that little fight. That was a fight. That wasn't a battle. That was a fight. A battle is with a large group of people fighting each other. That's a battle. We haven't seen a battle. Even in season 1 with the battle that Tyrion was in with the Hill Tribes. We didn't see it. You see what I'm saying? So we finally got to see a battle, and I'm glad we got to see a battle. However, there were a few things that we didn't get to see in the battle. Number 1, there were no naval fights. Think about it. Stannis' fleet came in from the water, right? And Tyrion knew that they couldn't, they couldn't match Stannis' fleet in the water. So that's when they went ahead and decided to use the wildfire, right? But what I'm saying is this: because the wildfire pretty much took out Stannis' fleet. When I say fleet, I'm talking about the ships, not the men. You see what I'm saying? When I say a fleet, I'm talking about the ships, okay? The wildfire pretty much took out Stannis' fleet, right? So, because they used the wildfire, we didn't get any, like, actual naval fights where, you have one ship, and then you have another ship, and then the two people on the people on the two different ships start fighting each other. They start swinging back and forth. They start firing. Well, I know they don't have cannons. I don't think they have cannons. But okay, they don't have cannons. Yeah, I don't think they have gunpowder at all, to be honest with y'all. I don't know. Do they have cannons? This is actually a good question, because I'm trying to remember, if memory serves me correctly, with in Rob's fight that happened earlier in the season, didn't they have cannons? So why the fuck did I'm gonna have to go back and look that up, because I swore Rob had cannons, but Stannis didn't have any cannons. But then again, I don't think they use gunpowder at all. This is a good question. I need to look that up. Anywho, but what I'm saying is this: we didn't have soldiers on ships fighting each other. You see what I'm saying? So we got no naval fights, because once the wildfire happened, Stannis took his men in rowboats, and then they got ashore, and then they went up to the gates. So we didn't have any naval fights. And this is actually the part where I want to talk about Davos and His Son, because they got blown off their ship, right? But I don't know if they're dead. I would assume that Davos' son is dead, because he kind of took like a direct hit, like he was right in the fray when the shit went off. Davos, however, was on the other side of the ship, and he was just kind of blown back by the impact. So I don't know if he's still alive or not. I don't know. I don't think he is. I hope he is, because I like Davos' character. I think he's witty, especially when you have Davos and when you have Stannis. That dichotomy between the two of them, where Stannis is the serious one and Davos is serious, but he has that wit about him to where he can crack a joke. He can crack a smile. You see what I'm saying? So I like Davos' character. I like the actor that portrays Davos. I think that's, I don't want to get my actors wrong. I think that's Ian Cunningham, I think is his name. I could be wrong about that. Anywho, I hope Davos is still around. But given the outcome of Blackwater, I don't know. Like, even if he survives, I don't know if he'll be around very long. Anywho, so had the ships, had the wildfire, Stannis people get on land, right? So now we have an actual, an actual battle. And a few comments about that. Number one, thank God Stannis' men started using them fucking boats, because the whole time they were rushing the gate, I kept shouting at the television, use the fucking boats! Use the fucking boats! Why aren't you using your fucking shields? When the archers were getting them, I was like, flip the motherfucking boats over, use the fucking boats. I was like, have you niggas never seen Braveheart? Have you never seen Robin Hood? Use the fucking boats. They use the boats. So I was like, yes, okay, they use the boats. Okay, so then we get the fight. We got the Hound. He's out there, slaying people. Tyrion, surprisingly, I'll get to Tyrion in a minute. Okay, so you got the Hound on the ground. He's slaughtering people, right? Lancel, I think was his name. He was out there until he bitched out and then he ran, right? So then Stannis, this bullheaded motherfucker, like, honestly, I'm starting to think that the Baratheon sigil should be a bull rather than a stag, because there's some bullheaded motherfuckers. Stannis goes head first, all out, just gunning, right? First one up the ladder, first one onto the wall. And I mean, and I'll give Stannis his due. The motherfucker was fighting off 5 people at once. I mean, it was slash slash this one dude, grab the other dude, slash slash this dude, slash slash, other dude come back, slash slash, this guy come over. I mean, he was fighting 5 people by himself. But here's the problem with Stannis fucked up. You were by yourself, homeboy. You got on shore, you got the ladder, you got up the wall, you got over, but you by yourself. Where's the rest of your people? Down below. I think only a few managed to actually follow him up there. Stannis, you by yourself, man. Come on, bruh. Keep in mind, this is what killed Alexander the Great, for any of you all who are fans of history. Because Alexander infiltrated a fortress by his damn self. And he didn't have adequate numbers when he went in over the wall. Like Alexander got fucked over going over the wall. Now, I'm not saying that Stannis got fucked over, but what I'm saying is Stannis kind of, it's funny. Stannis' fighting style is the same thing as Stannis' personality. He alienates people. All season, Stannis has pretty much been kind of alienating people, and this is what I mean. Sure, he can get people to rally around him, right? But I'm talking about in his personal company, he alienates people. And he alienated other people who could have been potential allies, right? And I'll bring this back up when I talk about the end of the battle. So Stannis' whole political deal, his whole political mindset is to alienate those who he deems are not his equals, right? But that's kind of the same thing he did in the fight, because he went up there gun-ho fucking Davy Crockett like, you dig, you know, and okay, better example, he went up there like, you know, fucking Custer, you know, yeah, rah 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 rah, and he was holding his own. But at what point in time does Stannis stop and look around and be like, I don't see any of my other people around here? You see what I'm saying? So okay, and then Tyrion decides that after the whole wildfire thing, he's going to bring the troops that he has inside the walls. They're going to use the underground tunnels that him and Varys were talking about earlier. He's going to use those in order to flank Stannis' forces, which was good in theory. It was good in theory. It could have very easily backfired, and this is what I mean. After the wildfire incident, when Stannis brought his rowboats and he brought his men ashore, right? Now, keep in mind, Stannis had a huge fleet, right? And the whole wildfire explosion thing, once again, I know this has to do with, you know, HBO's budget and all that type of shit. What I'm saying is this. The whole wildfire incident did not look like it took out the majority of Stannis' fleet. Had Tyrion made the mistake of assuming that the majority of Stannis' fleet got wiped out, he could have very easily set himself up to get fucked over, which is what he thought happened when the other soldiers showed up. He thought that was Stannis' troops, and I did too. And that's what I was saying. I was like, because Tyrion's plan was good in theory, but it could have very easily backfired on him had Stannis had more troops that would have landed much after his first troops did. You see what I'm saying? Like, if there were more ships that had to get past the debris before they got on land, that could have bit Tyrion in the ass. But before I talk about the actual, like the end of the battle, I'm going to talk about the Cersei and Sansa, and yeah, the Cersei and Sansa scenes that happened towards the end. First off, the whole Sansa thing with the Hound, I gotta admit, is creepy. And this is what I mean. First off, I was surprised that the Hound was like, fuck it, I'm done fucking with y'all, because I don't know his reasoning for that. I mean, was he just fed up? Okay. Did the fact that, you know, half his men got killed when they were fighting, was that what might have triggered it? Maybe. Was the fact that Joffrey wasn't actually fighting alongside with them. Would that have triggered it? Maybe. What I'm saying is we don't know. All three of those are possible, are very plausible reasonings for him choosing to just throw his hands up and be like, fuck y'all. But what I'm saying is we don't know what's the reason. Which is why I'm saying I'm surprised that happened. Because, I mean, damn, was Blackwater what it took? Was that like the straw that broke the camel's back? Because I think Joffrey's done a lot of shit earlier in the season where the Hound should have been like, fuck it, I'm done fucking with you. But I guess that was it. So then, oh yeah. Before I'm just lingering on that scene one more time, did Sansa actually leave? I don't think so. I'm almost positive she doesn't. Nah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. Anywho, so now the Cersei scene where she was actually about to kill her son. Cersei's crazy. Now I know this for a fact. Cersei is crazy, and I would even argue she's suicidal. She is very, very emotionally unstable. She's crazy. I think that stunt she was about to pull is drastic indeed. Oh, and consider this. She ordered to have Joffrey brought back to his quarters, right? But then she was going to kill off her youngest son, because remember, she thought that Stannis, was in the walls and that they were actually winning, that, they had won. And so, of course, she knows if Stannis gets in here, he's going to kill her children, right? But consider this. She was willing to kill her youngest son to pretty much save him from being slaughtered by Stannis, right? But she didn't do that for Joffrey. Did she intend for Stannis to kill Joffrey? Because if that's the case, then why bring Joffrey inside in the first place? Or maybe was she taking care of the youngest one first before she got to Joffrey? I don't know. But I have to question this because she's crazy. No, people, you don't understand. This is not up for debate. She's crazy. She's gone. And we'll never get her back. She's crazy. Legitimately crazy. So now I'm going to talk about the ending. Big Daddy Tywin swooped in, saved the motherfucking day. And I'm not even going, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna be real. That's all I ever am with y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. All right. I wanted Stannis to win, but when Tywin rode in on that fucking white horse, boy, I was like, fucking right, boy, coming to save the motherfucking day now. Cause I like Tywin, and he looks badass on that fucking white horse, boy. Tywin with the beard and the white horse and the cloak looked like fucking like Gandalf the White, boy. He just come in there. That white horse. And okay, anyway, it was cool. That's what I was saying. But like oh, that's another thing that I do want to comment on this. I'm surprised that Tywin and his troops were actually able to get there on time. So now I have to wonder, like, how close is Harrenhal and fucking King's Landing actually in proximity? Cause he got there pretty damn fast, didn't he? He left last week. And in last week's episode, they said that Stannis' fleet was only a few days outside of King's Landing. That means Tywin got from Harrenhal to King's Landing in a couple of days. So Harrenhal is not that far from King's Landing than what they lead us to believe. It's actually a lot closer. Or they were riding 24/7. One of the two. And you can't ride horses like that. Because number one, your jump get all messed up, and then the horse is tired. You'll kill a horse like that if you ride him too hard. But yeah, I'm surprised he got there in time. But then the shocker for me was when Loras his men teamed up with Tywin. And you know what's funny though? I gotta do a quick shout out to my cousin Armin J. Big shout out to you, cause my cousin predicted this shit in episode 6 when Littlefinger met with Tywin about, and he told him about what happened to Renly and what happened with Loras. Yeah, he predicted that back then, that he was like, man, your boy Loras gonna team up with Tywin. And I'm like, nah, I don't see that happening. Because but then again, if you think about it, it makes sense. Why? Because he hates Stannis more than he hates Tywin. But also, man, I didn't think it would happen because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Lannisters and the Tyrells, those are the two richest families in the Seven Kingdoms, right? Like, the Lannisters are number 1 and the Tyrells are number 2. Or at least that's what we've been led to believe, that they're the second richest. So I'm thinking if those two team up, then that's fucking rap, right? But yeah. Oh, this is funny. This is War by 30 Seconds of Mars. It's come on, this is War. But yeah. My thing is this. I never would have expected Loras to actually do that. Because I figured he disliked the Lannisters as much as Renly disliked the Lannisters. But I guess after Stannis killed Renly, then he hated Renly more than he hated... he hated Stannis. Loras hated Stannis more than Loras hated the Lannisters. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's it. I'm sorry. Game over. The Lannisters have teamed up with the Tyrells. That's it. Robb, done. Balin, done. War's over. Cause, no, that's it. And I think I'm like at 28 minutes or something. This about to go out, but it's done. It's over, people. Game's over. Like, this whole war and shit, I don't see how it could possibly go on. You got two of the strongest houses have just teamed up. And what have I've been saying all season? The second 2 houses team up is the second this month it's wrapped. So game over, people. Lannisters won. Joffrey's king. Sansa's fucked unless she actually did escape, which I don't think she did. Cersei's crazy. Jaime's about to go home. Tywin's in the fucking house. Tyrion, surprisingly, is still alive, but I got a feeling that now that Tywin is in King's Landing, Tyrion's about to get tossed to the wayside because they don't need Tyrion anymore. So, but yeah, game's over. It's done. It's wrapped. We're all fucked. Everyone in Westeros is fucked. Game over. Done. So that's gonna do it for this week's Game of Thrones review. Thank you all for joining me again this week, and I'll close this out with a shameful plug. OAW merchandise as well as Game of Thrones inspired merchandise now available at districtlines.com/otakuassemble. And keep an eye out for my upcoming guest spot on the podcast of Ice and Fire. I'm doing that tomorrow. That'll be up later this week. But other than that, wrapping this up. Game over, people. Game over. This has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off. And until next time, peace.